Welcome, everyone, to the very first episode of The Comp, brought to you by Redux ESports. We are your hosts. I am Killchain, and this is my co-host here, Cryptic, the one and only.
What?
Today's episode, unfortunately, does not start with great news. Just yesterday, we learned that Maurice Ferro Enriquez has sadly passed away. Our deepest condolences go out to his friends and to his family. All right, Crip. Now, hopefully we can move on to some more enlightening topics there. And what do you got for us here to kick off our very first episode?
Well, man, we've got some exciting news today. Chicago. We're going to have Optic Chicago. Wow. Can't say we didn't see that coming, but so soon. That's exciting. I've always been a huge Optic Gaming fan. You know, I actually flew to LA and watched them in the Black Ops 3 tournament at Champs, and I'm excited, man. Yeah. I was having Hex back with Optic.
It's just right.
Didn't seem the same. Yeah, it didn't seem the same without him. You know, I had a hard time getting behind the Huntsman, and I love Scumpy. I actually got to play with him in this past year, and it was an honor to play with him. He was beast moding. So, you know, having him under that Optic brand again is going to be like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, man. It's definitely much needed for the community. Optic just wasn't the same without Hex behind it. And I'm excited to see what they do this year. They were always great at content creation. They were great, you know, pretty much across the board, whether they're winning tournaments or just pushing out content. It was fantastic. So having those guys back in the driver's seat, it's just the right thing. And I'm glad the CDL approved it because it needed to happen. Now leading up to that, the reason behind him being able to buy back the Optic brand and change the name of the Huntsman is 100 Thieves. Personally, my favorite team in the CDL. Yeah, man, Nadeshot's back, and I can tell you, I'm so pumped to see them back in the CDL.
Yeah, man. So I'm going to be torn this year, having I'm from the DFW area, so naturally I'm a Dallas Empire fan. Go Empire! Congrats on their champs win on Modern Warfare. But I liked 100 Thieves, especially when they had Octane, in Black Ops 4, and
yep.
Man, Optic Gaming's back. This is going to be a good year.
I wonder if we're going to see this rivalry come back. The Optic and 100 Thieves rivalry come back, because that was crazy good.
Oh, yes. I'm going to have my popcorn ready for that tournament.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be an interesting matchup come this year. I'm looking forward to it. We're back to 4v4 like we were, not that many years ago. If some of our viewers are a little bit older than, maybe the typical Call of Duty fan, you may remember the 4v4 days with Nadeshot and that Optic group that, they probably should have won a couple of titles, but for whatever reason they couldn't. And they kind of were the middle ground of that whole dynasty. And so, going back to 4v4 is very exciting for me as well.
Oh, yeah. I think, as we get to the end of Modern Warfare, I think everybody's ready to see that 5-man team go away. I think it was just hard to follow. I think it was, just craziness. It was chaos.
There's just too many people on the map, man, to be honest with you.
It became, who doesn't like a good slay fest? But honestly, the strategy portion of it went out the window. You had a route man, but I mean, that was just the guy that rotated early. If and then it was like, do we send 2 guys? Do we send 1 guy? Do we send? There was some strategy with 5, but with 4, having a dedicated anchor that's responsible for the spawns and the guys that play the hill. Do you stick 1 guy in the hill? Do you stick 2 guys in the hill? How does it's going to be from map to map.
Yep.
And 4 is going to be fun.
Yeah, and it's on. I'm heavily looking forward to the new game, to be honest with you. I, like you, are a we're both Black Ops players. So, to say I'm excited for the new game here in the next day or so is an understatement. I cannot wait for this game to drop. I can tell you that I've struggled in Modern Warfare for a number of different reasons. And this new game coming out kind of gives you that reset button. And I'm definitely looking forward personally to the reset button so that we can get kicked off and, start having fun again, be able to slay out, be able to do the movement and not be one shot. It's going to be so much fun this year.
Since you brought that up, have you seen the patch notes for Cold War from the beta to now?
I've seen a few of them. I saw that they did nerf the slide to shoot. That was one of the big ones, so that sprint to shoot is actually faster now, which is an interesting development because I know a lot of people in the beta were sliding corners and doing a quick slide cancel shoot. And so it's going to be an interesting transition to see who still does that, who can adjust and who can't. Personally, I like being able to slide, but I use the slide for more movement. I don't use it to get into gunfights and out of them.
Right. And what's interesting, they slowed down the slide also.
Yep.
And so how is that going to play into competitive? I get why they did it. So it's the general consensus of it was a skill gap that they were trying to adjust. So some guys get on here and they're playing 6 and 8 hours a day.
Right.
And it's like, I've got to get as good as I possibly can. And then you've got guys that get in here that's like, man, I just got off from work. I got about 2 hours to play. Let me just chill for a minute. Well, movement is key. Pretty much everybody's got somewhat of a decent shot, especially in competitive Call of Duty. Everybody's got a good shot.
Yeah.
So it breaks down into movement and map awareness. So by changing the movement around a little bit, I'm curious how much. We're gonna have to wait and see. But here's how much of that movement they're gonna change. Is it gonna be I'm gonna fly around corners, kind of like. A common movement in Modern Warfare was, you do the bunny hop around the corner. You go full tack sprint and then, 90-degree turn and hit the guy and get your target. So is it going to be more of that in Black Ops? The jump slide cancel, is that kind of going away a little bit? How's that going to work? So, man, those patch notes. I know that wasn't kind of part of our notes, but I'm excited.
I mean, to be honest with you, I don't think it's going to change the movement in the game that much. I mean, it's still at heart a Black Ops game. And there, as we learned in the beta and the alpha, there is no bunny hopping. You jump shot, but that is not the break the camera bunny hopping that lives in Modern Warfare. It will be interesting to see how much they slowed it down and how viable it is, but make no mistake, there's still going to be people that are slide canceling into gunfights. I don't think they would have slowed it down enough to really make it that bad. So I think what they're thinking is if someone's sliding back and forth in a doorway and someone's running to it, the person that is sliding already has the advantage because they see first. However, if they can also aim first, there's no chance for the person running. So by slowing it down slightly to allow the person sprinting to ADS a little faster, it catches up to that break in the camera that's due to the slide. So that's what I'm hoping they did. They adjusted it slightly so that it equals out whether you're running or sliding. That would make a lot of sense.
So I want to read all these notes here, but something else that they did is, they brought up that they're trying to match the rest of the ARs equivalent to with the Krig and the XM4.
Yep.
So how much are they going to match them? Are we going to see a shift in the meta? Because I think right now everybody's seeming to think that the MP5 M4 is going to be the meta. what's going to be the meta? Is it?
I think the cool part about what Treyarch's doing there is they're giving people options at a competitive level where it doesn't really matter what you run. It's all based on your tactics and your skill. So, maybe something will fire a little faster, but something will have a little bit more damage. If they can balance these guns like we've never seen before, I'll dare to say it right here, right now. Black Ops 2, by far the best competitive game for Call of Duty ever. I think they kind of accidentally did it, and they made the perfect competitive game. If they can balance these guns, they might get there. This game has potential. There's things that need to be fixed. They need some anti-cheat badly because, frankly, the beta was littered with hackers everywhere. We played against quite a few ourselves, and to be honest with you, man, I don't think that's going to be showing up in the competitive scene where we are as much, but it's just a deterrent to, a lot of people that want to play this game casually. And, I feel for those folks. Like, I don't know why you got to hack to win at a video game. I don't know what kind of person it takes to make them feel good about that, but it's frankly a little bit pathetic.
So I agree. I played against one of those last night, and then the trash talkers.
Yep,
it's not Call of Duty without the trash talkers, man. I think, believe it or not, as long as it's not the guy going 1-7 like I found last night, that's trying to trash talk. It's something else. And I've been hearing a few people getting banned for trash talking. So I'm wondering if they're, Activision's coming out with putting the hammer down. Are they going to ban the trash talkers, the cheaters even more now? They're going to come out with a software on it. So I'm very curious.
Yeah, I'm kind of hopeful because, trash talking is one thing. Shooting some bodies every now and again when somebody makes a kick-ass move and just drops you and there was nothing you could have done any better, but they just beat you. Like, that stuff I get. But the guys that get into a lobby that are garbage and talk crap the entire time, man, just go someplace else. There ain't no room for that. If you're bad at the game and you're trash talking, you just look like an idiot.
So, we talked about Cold War, but, Modern Warfare is coming to an end.
Yep. Hallelujah.
What are your thoughts? Wow. Okay. So, we kind of talked about it last night when we were playing. I made the comment, there's too many one-shot guns.
Yes.
They buffed the Car 98 again. I thought was interesting.
How do you buff a gun that can ADS faster than any other gun and one-shot everyone?
Yeah, so I thought that was kind of interesting. And, what are your thoughts, coming across here at the end of Modern Warfare? You go back and you look upon the game. I was listening to some YouTube streams this morning, and one of the guys was talking about how, in hindsight, this actually was probably one of it's not the best Call of Duty, but it's not the worst, but profitability wise, it's probably going to top out at one of the top most profitable Call of Duty games they made. So, but what are your thoughts on Modern Warfare?
So I have a theory when it comes to the profitability portion of it. Warzone's free. And if you get a game for free, aka Fortnite, you're more than likely to buy things, battle passes, skins, stuff out of the store, COD points, etc. on down the line. Now, I know a lot of people also bought the game. My theory behind that is the nostalgia of Modern Warfare, the original, which was a very good game. This game is not terrible. There are terrible things in it, but the game as a whole is not terrible. In my opinion, the the loadouts, or not the loadouts, the gunsmith, fantastic. It is great. It is a huge step in the correct direction. And I think that Treyarch took it to the next level in Cold War. The movement, the graphics, the audio, all great. To be honest with you, if this game was a Treyarch game and they had the amount of time they needed to, the problems that we noticed all year long, the obscene breaking of cameras, the odd angles where you'd see an entire person and they couldn't see you at all. That stuff has always existed in COD, and I can accept that, but it just feels a lot worse this year than any other year before. So I feel like those things just didn't get addressed. The footsteps. We learned to adapt to it, but just the loudness, the elephant stomping footsteps is just insane. You should be able to hear footsteps without a dead silence. But they shouldn't sound like an elephant coming from 10 rows back at a baseball game where everybody's screaming.
I agree.
If there's a VTOL up in the air, you shouldn't be able to hear somebody's footsteps.
Over a Gatling gun, 100 feet above your head.
Right. You're shooting a gun right next to your ear. You shouldn't be able to hear a footstep next to you. There's a lot of things that I dislike about the game, one of which being the one-shot guns. Can't play a pubs match anymore. It's gotten to that point in the year where there's too many ridiculous guns in the game. The fire-breathing shotgun and that crap. Hell, you and I yesterday we were healing up in Warzone, and one guy rode in and shot us 4 times with that thing.
Spray shotgun with the flame. Yeah, that was crazy.
So
that was crazy. I feel like you see that a lot though at the end of Call of Duty games, where it's like we're really not going to care about the meta, or we're not going to care about the guns anymore. We're going to put the most toxic craziness we could possibly put together in the game. We kind of saw that at the end of Black Ops 4 too, with one of the first ever explosive tip sniper rifles, where you could just...
Yeah, man. What is that?
Here, NoobTube, watch this.
Right.
That was...
I remember that. Hey, NoobTube, hold my beer.
Yeah, exactly. That... I guess that's why we both like the comp side.
Yeah.
From a competitive standpoint, Modern Warfare to me was rough.
A little bit.
It was rough. The spawns. Normally you find like 1 point on hardpoint, you find like 1 point on all the different maps. There's just that 1 point on this map that if you do it right, you can spawn trap the team.
Yep.
There's like 2 on one map and 2 on another, 2 or 3 on other maps. It's kind of, there's no split spawns. There's none of that. It's just really,
it's sticky.
Different. Yeah.
It's really sticky in this game, and it's tough to flip.
Yeah, it's definitely different. And there's my future pro gamers coming in here. My future pro gamer.
Gotta love the lock-ins, right?
Right about now, every single time, it's like, nah!
Yeah,
it cracks me up. But anyway, back to the comp side, the spawn trapping, all that. But I think I got a little spoiled with a 3-gun meta in Black Ops 4, and then we get into Modern Warfare, and it's pretty much an MP5 or M4.
Yep, 100%.
Like the MP5 and XM4 in Cold War. So I'm curious how that's going to play out. I really like the 3-gun meta. You got a guy with an SMG in the middle. You got a hybrid SMG, LMG on the outsides, and an AR that's just a beamer.
Yep.
At distance and to anchor. So
Yeah, it's definitely going to be very interesting going into Cold War and how that's all going to play out, especially with them trying to balance the guns from the beginning of the game. Because I don't remember the last time we had balanced guns ever in Call of Duty, to be honest with you.
Modern Warfare. They're perfectly balanced. As long as you use a 725, it was great. Sniper rifle on a shotgun. Whoever thunk that?
Yeah. Though you remember the Warzone clips back at the beginning? Or
yes.
Ground War, was it? It was Ground War.
Oh, yeah.
Where they'd shoot across the map and one shot kill someone.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, with the slug rounds. It was great.
Oh, man. I don't know how you break a game that badly. But, Infinity Ward finds a way. Where there's a will, there's a way.
It's one of the last nights on Modern Warfare for us.
Yep.
So, on a positive note.
It's one of the last nights.
So, I will say, after playing the Cold War beta, and I know it is just a beta.
Yep.
But I went from Cold War and then I logged back in and I played Modern Warfare. And I'll have to admit, it's a pretty good looking game. Like,
oh, yeah.
If you judge that book by its cover, it's a really good looking game. And I really liked it as far as, the gameplay and all that goes. It had its issues.
Well, and it feels like the community split is happening between casuals who enjoy graphics and audio and the competitive side that wants a really good competitive game. And so the competitive side, everyone loves the Cold War beta, and I anticipate them to follow suit within the actual game here when it drops in a couple of days. But when you talk to casuals, they talk about the graphics and the audio and all of this stuff. And I'll admit that Modern Warfare is definitely better in those respects right now. However, graphics and audio only do so much for a game. You could have decent audio, decent graphics, and the game plays amazing, and I would play that game over something that's graphically just gorgeous all day long. All day long.
Yep. So, what are your expectations for competitive Cold War?
Well, now with some of the news dropping about how they're trying to balance weapons, whatnot, I'm kind of hoping, I kind of expect Cold War to have more than a 2-gun meta. The beta felt like 3, maybe 4 were viable, but if they can balance these out, that would be amazing. I'd love to see a meta with basically anything you want to use in the game that's competitively legal. From a competitive standpoint, I'd like to see. I'm struggling with how to phrase this.
Go ahead, Dallas Empire. Repeat. I got you.
Yeah. Well, come on, man. I love me some 100 Thieves, and low key a little bit excited about Optic too. So just don't tell Nade Shot. But I'll be honest with you, man. I just want something where when someone wins a gunfight, they won the gunfight. There wasn't some fluke in the game. Nobody broke the camera. It was skill on skill and somebody beat somebody else. Like, I want to see that again.
Yeah, same. It's a good competitive game mode. The rank play. I really want to see the rank play return. I think they've already announced it. I don't know if it's dropping on launch day yet, but I'm pretty sure that it's going to be dropping pretty quickly. I think at the latest we'll probably get it as January. So
yeah, that would be ideal if we could get it at least by January when the CDL kicks off and everything gets going on that side of things. Speaking of the competitive scene, do you maybe want to talk about Redux Black a little bit? One of our newest teams now that we have officially formed the organization, Redux ESports. What are you feeling about them? What are they going to be up to this year?
Man, game drops Friday. They have a competition for some pretty good money on Saturday. It is going to be crazy for them. They have been grinding, working on team communication, getting their roster just right, and Infinity Era, the captain of that team, he's pumped, man. I honestly, I have really high hopes for him. I would never tell him to his face, but I honestly think he has the highest probability of anybody in our org to go pro. Watching him play, I've seen him play against the sweaties of the sweaties, and he's still going to do what he does. Glitch, he has taken Glitch under his wing, and I remember a time where I was thinking, are y'all sure Glitch is ready to be on black? And oh my. Infinity was like, no, I'm going to take him under my wing. Trust me, he's going to be good.
He's come a long way, man.
Whew, he is beast mode now. He, even whenever I've played with him, man, they bring the heat.
Yes.
And I'm like, man, I'm getting old or what?
Or maybe they're just that much better than us now. I don't know. It may not be the old card. I don't know if we can pull that yet.
That much better. Yeah, I think they're just that much better. So Vantage has some history on experience on the amateur, and I think a little bit on the pro scene. So that's going to be huge. They just added Gunner, and he looks like a boss. He was actually in our beta. He was the top player in Cold War in the beta. So we'll see what he brings to the table. That could be a nasty team. I really have high expectations for this team. It's their first year though competing together. They've all of them have competed in something else before or wherever else, and but this team together, this is going to be a good team. This is going to be a really good team, and I'm confident they're going to do really, really well.
Yeah, I'm hopeful that they can at least compete this year. That's the expectation. It's the first year, like you said. There's a lot of experimentation going on. There are other teams within the org and development happening within the org as well. And so, if we can get the team to be competitive in some of these crazy leagues and crazy tournaments they're going into, the one this weekend being dynamic, there's some very good teams in that tournament. Specifically, we've got Wigs World League coming up in December, I believe, where every other season that team will also play in that, which also hosts a plethora of amateur teams, competitor team, the competitor series teams from last year. And then speaking of competitor series, we will be putting black into that this year. They will start in the GB ladders as soon as they open, and any open tournament they will be entering, hoping to get to the point where they have enough points they can enter into an elite tournament, or a few, hopefully. Right now, their goal is to make it to Challengers final weekend, which would be above and beyond the expectations that I have, but it's a great goal to have.
And that's just what we got going on with Redux Black. We still have Redux Green. That team, we're ironing out a roster right now. I think there's 7 guys on that team. You've got Amps getting ready to make a run for it. Toby Maguire.
I don't know if he can use that name considering it's a celebrity, but for right now,
I will always call him Toby Maguire. He plays the.
Oh yeah.
Here. Oh yeah. So check out my guns. So we got him going. We've got some people stepping up, hopefully, on green that I'm really excited. to see. I don't know if they're going to know about it yet by the time this video drops, but we shall see. But man, Green has all the potential in the world to be one of the top teams that we got. We talk about Black a lot, but Green, they're going to get this dynamic duel of McLovin and Baracho together. And if those two guys can mesh, that is enough firepower alone to carry a team. Just about. Those guys, we played with them. They're Black Ops players like us, and they're beastie. They're super, super beastie. And rounding out that with Docs, who a month ago couldn't even give you a hardpoint rotation in Modern Warfare, but if it was almost like if he didn't drop 20 kills in competitive search, it was something was wrong with him.
Yeah.
His gun skill is ridiculous.
It's off the charts. His potential is off the charts.
Oh yeah. And then, he's been grinding, learning how to play hardpoint. And in our tens lobbies, he was actually the kill leader for a couple nights.
Yep.
On a regular basis. So that guy,
he's the one we're going to have to watch out for this year.
Yes, I agree.
He could be the most improved in the org the entire year. By far, he could be. If he keeps grinding and working as hard as he has been, he's going to be a force to be reckoned with walking in, because Green is planning on also doing challengers at this point. I think we're going to go ahead and let them go into that realm, dip their toes in, see if they can, see if they're able to hang.
Yep.
And, additionally, I think we're going to put them into the opposite seasons for Wigs World League, I believe. Yes. And if they keep competing and improving the way they have been, they're going to be just fine this year. They've got a lot of guys that are ready to go, that are working their butts off, and it's going to be a fun year with them as well.
Oh yeah. And our, under 18 team.
Ooh.
I want 2 weeks worth of practice with Green Black and our U18 team. And if I were a gambling person, I would almost put money that our U18 team would beat both of them.
As of right now, I would say that they would not only hold their own, they could probably take a few maps. I don't know if they could consistently beat them, but that team is real nasty. They've got a couple of young guns on that team. They're only 16, so unfortunately they can't go into challengers or anything like that, but
more years.
Yeah, 2 more years, man. They're the future of Redux, and they're going to be exciting. We're still filling out that team a little bit, so stay tuned for that final announcement. But honestly, I'm also excited for the guys that aren't technically on a comp team, but they're the next up. They're the ones that are working their butts off behind the scenes. They're coming in ready to go and ready to take a spot when one opens up. Fishaholic being one of those, Adrian being another one of those. Now these guys will be competing in leagues. They'll be grinding just like the rest of the teams. They just won't be in challengers this year. And, they do have some stuff to learn and to get better at. But man, these guys are already nasty, and if they keep getting better and better and better, just like everybody has thus far, taking that next step up won't even be a question.
I agree 100%, man. It's really neat. Some of these guys, have been coming to me and asking me, "Hey, what do I need to work on? Hey, when we were playing tens, what do I need to work on?" And there's some of them are really taking it to heart and grinding. Hey, who wants to run some GBs? Who wants to do this? I got to get better at this. Somebody work with me on this. So I'm really excited to see all the guys that are working, that are not on a team, and trying to get there and trying to get that contract to earn some money.
Yep. Yeah, it's definitely uplifting to see how well everybody and all the competitive players in the org have kind of taken this crazy growth here recently and just kind of run with it, because, you know, I'm gonna be honest, I didn't expect it this quickly. I expected us to struggle a little bit more. Not that we aren't, but I don't know. It's been a wild ride, and I'm going to stay on this train as long as I can, because, man, it's a hell of a lot of fun.
I don't see a caboose in sight. I'm not lying, man. This train keeps growing and it keeps going. You know, we're starting this podcast as a first ever. You know, we're going to be making build videos. We're going to be doing all this other stuff in there. And, you know, we're going to have watch parties in our Discord for the CDL, and we're playing in these tournaments. You know, we added up the other night. There's like several $1,000s on the line for us this year. You know, that's a lot. That's a lot. And
well, I remember last year playing for, you know, a prize pool of $100, $150 in these smaller tournaments. And, you know, we're playing just for fun. We didn't think we could win that. You know, you and me personally, just playing as a group of buddies. But, you know, taking this thing to the next level and being where we are at, you know, honestly, man, it's a full-fledged blessing in my mind. We were very lucky to find and come across some of these players that are now part of the organization, and, you know, the buy-in that they have and the belief that they have in what we're doing here is fantastic. It blows my mind every day.
Me too, man. I'm excited, especially in the coming months, the coming weeks. Coming weekend of Call of Duty Cold War.
Man, I'm going to tell you, I told you I don't get nervous last night, but I'm feeling some butterflies. It's definitely showing up a little bit. Not nervous that they're not going to perform or anything, just it's the first one. You know, it's kind of bittersweet after all of these months of the hard work and the announcements and, you know, revealing the org. It's kind of bittersweet to finally run through a tournament.
It's going to be fun. I'm actually subbing this weekend. That's going to be interesting. I'm like, y'all want me to sub? I mean, I can't even figure out how to fire the gun yet. I mean, I'm just kidding.
You shouldn't say things like that. You know, then it makes us want to replace you like now, even if it's just a warm body. It doesn't matter. If you can't fire a gun, then
it's you know, circle, triangle, X, right? That's the cheat code to fire.
Right, exactly.
Wait. I have an Xbox controller. That's right.
Well, you know, I think we're running up on plenty of time here for this first one, but we definitely want to thank everybody for coming out, hanging out in our first ever podcast as the comp. Just make sure to drop a subscribe, a like, ring that bell icon so you know when we upload new episodes, when we upload our build videos like Cryptic talked about, or really anything that happens within the org. We're gonna be trying to stay as active as possible and give you guys as much information as we can. So make sure to do that. Subscribe, like, and ring the bell.
Ding.
Anything you got left before we hop out of here?
I'm good, man. I look forward to making these, and you know, this was fun. You know, I can't wait when we have more to talk about with Cold War. That's going to be fun. So yeah, guys, don't forget to subscribe, all that good stuff, and ring the dinger.
Ring the dinger. All right, we can incorporate that one. I like it. All right, everybody. Well, until next time, stay cracked, slay on, and keep on grinding.